Blizzard Entertainment is the developer and publisher of Diablo IV, an action role-playing game that will only be available for multiplayer play in 2023. The Diablo series has reached this point with its fourth primary chapter. The game was released on June 5th, 2023 for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, as well as the Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and Microsoft Windows. The announcement for the game took place at BlizzCon 2019. Players begin the game by creating a character of their choosing from one of the 5 playable classes: Barbarian, Druid, Necromancer, Rogue, or Sorcerer. Then they employ the combat skills associated with their chosen class to complete objectives. The game was accessible for early access for a considerable amount of time, with public betas being made available as early as March 2023, and formal early access starting on June 1st. There are some elements that have been carried over from earlier games in the series, such as the emphasis placed on exploring procedurally generated dungeons and creating characters with a concentration on loot. However, there are also gameplay elements that are new to the series, such as the inclusion of an open world and player versus player conflict. The narrative, atmosphere, and replay value of Diablo IV were lauded by reviewers as strengths of the game, which contributed to the game's generally favorable reception. The setting. In the Sanctuary universe that has been the setting for all the games in the Diablo series, Diablo IV takes place 50 years after the events of Diablo III: Reapers of Souls. Cultists have succeeded in calling upon Lilith, the primary antagonist of the story and daughter of Mephisto. As a result of the actions taken in the prior games, both the demonic and angelic armies have been significantly weakened, creating an opportunity for her to consolidate her dominance in Sanctuary. Thousands of years before the events of the game, Lilith and the angel Inarius established the realm of Sanctuary as a safe haven for people who sought to flee the never-ending war between the high heavens and the burning hells. This interaction between demons and angels resulted in the formation of a race known as the Nephilim, which is neither angelic nor demonic, but rather a distinct blend of the two. The protagonist belongs to this race. The people who lived in the Sanctuary were afraid that the power they possessed would draw unwanted attention to their safe haven. As a result, they discussed ways to eliminate them. Because Lilith did not want any of her offspring to die, she eliminated all of the enemies she faced. This prompted Inarius to cast her out into the vacuum. Story. The player character, known as the Wanderer, is given drugs and fed flowers of Lilith's blood by villagers who have been corrupted by Lilith, so established a bond to Lilith. The Wanderer encounters Loreth Nar, one of the remaining Horadrim, after escaping. Loreth Nar returns from Diablo III: Reapers of Souls and provides an explanation on the prophecy of Lilith's return. Inarius is under the impression that he is the only one who can slay Lilith, thus achieving the goal of the prophecy and regaining access to heaven. The Wanderer is able to enter the Sanctum of Rathma, the first Nephilim and the originator of the Necromancers, with the assistance of a young woman named Neyrel. Once inside, the spirit of Rathma reveals that he possessed the key to hell. Rathma declines to give Inarius the key, which leads to Inarius' murder of Rathma. Lilith is the one who ultimately discovers the key. The Wanderer then makes his way to Skosglen, where he meets another Horadrim by the name of Donan, who had previously vanquished a demon by the name of Astaroth, with the assistance of 2 druids many years earlier. In exchange for a safe journey through hell, Lilith blackmails the 2 druids into locating Astaroth's dungeon and releasing him from his confinement. Yorin, who is possessed by Astaroth and dies as a result of the demon's defeat, is Donan's son. Donan is able to retrieve the Soulstone that was utilized in the capture of Astaroth, and he makes preparations to modify it in order to capture Lilith. When the Wanderer catches up with Loreth in the Dry Steppes, they begin their pursuit of Elias, Loreth's former apprentice who was responsible for calling Lilith to Sanctuary and who is played by Anthony Howell. Even though Elias cannot be killed, the Wanderer and Loreth are able to recover an artifact known as the Sightless Eye in order to learn about Lilith's plan. Lilith's objective is to call upon the lesser evils in order to strengthen humanity's defenses against the prime evils. In addition to this, she has the intention of consuming the essence of her father Mephisto, while he is still vulnerable in order to harness his power and take control of hell. Taisa is the witch that Elias used as a vessel in order to call forth Andariel, the Maiden of Anguish, who is ultimately vanquished by the Wanderer. The Wanderer and the Horadrim make their way to the swamps of Hawazar, in the hopes of destroying Elias' ability to live forever. Elias had gained information from the enchanted Tree of Whispers, but he neglected to pay the price for that knowledge, which was his own head. After the Wanderer discovers that Elias had been keeping his own life force in a finger that he has cut, He decides to destroy the finger in order to finally vanquish Elias. The spirits of the tree then take Elias' head. The tree reveals to Lorath that there is a portal to hell beneath the city of Chaldeum, which may be opened with the key that Rathma possesses. In Chaldeum, the Wanderer is successful in vanquishing Duriel, the Lord of Pain, a reformed member of the Lesser Evils. When Inarius arrives in Hell to confront Lilith, she immediately puts an end to his life. As a result of Dodan's critical injury and Lorath's decision to stay behind, only the Wanderer and Neyrelle are able to continue their pursuit of Lilith to Mephisto's Cathedral of Hatred. Throughout the Wanderer's voyage, Mephisto disguised himself as a bloodied wolf. He urges them to focus on Lilith, but Neyrelle chooses to use a Soulstone to restrain Mephisto instead, believing that he poses the bigger threat. After that, the Wanderer battles Lilith and emerges victorious. Lilith gives a warning as she is about to pass away, stating that if she had not been present, there would have been no chance of victory over the Prime Evils. Following the deaths of both of Sanctuary's creators, the party travels back to their starting point. Neyrelle sets off on her own, with the Soulstone in hopes of discovering a strategy that will enable her to vanquish the Prime Evils once and for all. She is aware of their impending arrival, and that is the story of Diablo IV. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time.